Most people are not underpaid because they lack skills. They are underpaid because they don't know how to negotiate. Every single day, people go to work, accept offers, agree to salaries, and close deals without ever questioning if they could have earned more. And the painful truth is this: money is not only made by working harder, but by speaking smarter. There are people with the same education, the same experience, even the same job title, but one earns double what the other earns. The difference is not talent. The difference is negotiation. And here's what most people never realize. Every time you stay silent when you should speak, every time you accept the first offer, you are leaving money on the table. Over months and years, that becomes thousands, even millions lost. But what if I told you there are simple negotiation tricks that can quietly double your income starting from today? Let's break them down. Negotiation is not just something that happens in boardrooms or business meetings. It happens every single day of your life. When you ask for a salary, when you agree on a price, when you charge for your work, or even when you decide your value in a relationship or opportunity, you are negotiating. But the truth is, most people avoid it completely. Why? Because of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of sounding greedy, fear of being told no. Some people even feel guilty asking for more, like they don't deserve it. But here's the truth you need to understand. Negotiation is not a personality trait. It is a skill. And like every skill, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. In this video, I'm going to show you 7 simple negotiation tricks that can dramatically increase your income, sometimes even double it, without needing more work, just better strategy. Trick 1. The silence power move. One of the most powerful negotiation tools is something most people are afraid to use: silence. In a world where everyone feels the need to respond quickly, fill gaps, and explain themselves, silence becomes a hidden weapon. Here's why it works. Most people feel uncomfortable when there is silence in a conversation. It creates pressure. It creates tension. And in that tension, the other person often feels the need to speak first, and sometimes to offer more. Think about a salary negotiation. You are told the offer is $500. Instead of rushing to agree or argue, you simply pause. You stay quiet. You don't smile nervously. You don't over-explain. You just wait. In many cases, the employer will start talking again. They may say things like, "Well, we might be able to go a little higher," or "What range were you expecting?" That silence gave you control without saying a single extra word. The same applies in freelancing or business deals. When you present your price and then stay silent, you are showing confidence. People trust confident silence more than desperate talking. To use this in real life, the next time you make an offer or state your value, stop talking immediately after. Count in your head if needed. Let the silence do the work for you. Don't rush to fill it. Don't weaken your position. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say in a negotiation is nothing at all. Trick 2. Anchor high, win higher. One of the most important negotiation principles is something called anchoring. Anchoring simply means the first number spoken in a negotiation sets the direction for everything that follows. It becomes the reference point in the other person's mind, even if it is not logical. Here's the truth. Whoever says the first number often controls the outcome. If you walk into a negotiation and the first offer is low, the entire conversation shifts lower. But if you set a strong high anchor first, you change what the other person considers normal. Suddenly, even a lower counteroffer feels reasonable in comparison. For example, imagine you are applying for a job. If they ask your expected salary, and you confidently say a strong but realistic high range like, "I'm looking between $1,200 and $1,500, you have already positioned your value. Even if they were thinking $800, your anchor shifts their expectations upward. The key is this: You must anchor high without sounding desperate or unrealistic. You don't just throw a random big number. You attach confidence and justification. You can mention your experience, results, or value you bring, then state your number calmly. In business or freelancing, this works the same way. If you say your service is $300 first, even if they negotiate down, it will likely stay higher than if you started at $100. Anchoring is powerful because people rarely escape the first number they hear. So if you control that number, you control the direction of the entire deal. Trick 3. Never accept first offer. One of the biggest mistakes people make in negotiation is accepting the first offer too quickly. Whether it is a salary, a client price, or a deal, the first offer is almost never the best offer. It is usually designed to protect the other side, not to maximize your value. Here's the psychological truth. The first offer is often conservative on purpose. The other side expects negotiation. They usually start lower than what they are actually willing to give, leaving room to adjust. If you accept immediately, you are basically negotiating against yourself and leaving money on the table. Many people accept because they feel nervous, grateful, or afraid of losing the opportunity. But in reality, saying yes too fast can make you look less confident and less valuable. Instead, you should respond calmly and respectfully, but never immediately agree. For example, you can say, "Thank you for the offer. I was actually expecting something closer to your range based on the value I bring." Or simply, "I appreciate the offer. Is there any flexibility on that?" This keeps the conversation open without sounding rude or greedy. It shows confidence, not rejection. The goal is not to say no aggressively. The goal is to signal that you understand your worth and are willing to discuss it. Remember this: people respect what is negotiated, not what is instantly accepted. When you stop accepting the first offer, you immediately move from a passive receiver to an active negotiator, and that shift alone can increase your income significantly over time. Trick 4. Let me think about it. Strategy. One of the simplest but most powerful negotiation tools is learning to pause before you decide. Most people lose money because they feel pressured to give an instant answer. They think speed shows confidence, but in reality, instant decisions often cost you value. Here's why. When you agree immediately, you remove all tension from the negotiation. And in negotiation, tension is power. The moment you say yes too quickly, the other side feels they didn't have to work hard for your agreement, which often means you didn't maximize your value. But when you say, "Let me think about it," everything changes. You introduce uncertainty. You shift control. Now the other side has to wait, and in that waiting, they often start reconsidering their offer. For example, in a salary negotiation, instead of accepting on the spot, you can say, "Thank you, I appreciate it. Let me think about it and get back to you." During that time, they may even come back with a better offer to secure your decision. The same works in sales or rent negotiations. A landlord or client who senses hesitation may become more flexible rather than risk losing you. This strategy works because silence after a proposal creates mental pressure. People naturally want closure. And when you delay closure, you gain leverage without saying anything aggressive or demanding. The key is not to sound uncertain or weak. Say it calmly and confidently, as if you are evaluating your options, not doubting yourself. In negotiation, timing is power. And sometimes, the smartest move you can make is simply to wait. Trick 5. Trade, don't beg. One of the fastest ways to increase your income in any negotiation is to stop begging and start trading. There is a huge difference between asking for something and offering value in exchange for it. When you beg, you position yourself as needy. You are asking the other person to do you a favor. And in negotiation, neediness weakens your position. People naturally offer less to those who seem desperate. But when you trade, everything changes. You are no longer asking. You are exchanging value. You are saying, if you give me this, I can give you that. For example, instead of saying, can you increase my salary? You can say, if I take on extra responsibilities or improve performance in this area, can we review my compensation? In freelancing, instead of lowering your price, you can add value. You might say, I can include faster delivery, extra revisions, or ongoing support if we agree on this rate. Even in business deals, flexibility can be a trade. You might offer longer commitment, better terms, or added services in exchange for higher pay. This works because people value fairness and exchange. When they feel they are getting something in return, they are more willing to agree to higher numbers. It also increases your perceived value because you are not just taking, you are contributing. The key mindset shift is this. Stop thinking, what can I get? And start thinking, what can I offer in return? Once you move from begging to trading, you stop appearing weak and start appearing valuable. And in negotiation, value is what drives income higher, not requests. Trick 6. Use. Others are offering me more. One of the strongest psychological forces in negotiation is social proof. The idea that if other people value something, it must be valuable. When used correctly, this can significantly increase your income without being aggressive or dishonest. Here's how it works. People naturally want what others also want. In negotiation, if the other side believes you have alternatives, your value automatically increases in their eyes. You are no longer just someone asking for an opportunity. You are someone others are also interested in. This creates healthy competition, and competition raises value. But this must be used ethically. You should never lie or invent fake offers. Instead, you can simply highlight reality or general interest. For example, you might say, I've been exploring a few opportunities, and some of them are coming in at a higher range, but I'm really interested in working with you if we can align on value. Or in freelancing, I do have a few ongoing discussions with other clients, but I prefer to choose the one that's the best fit, not just the highest offer. This approach changes everything. You are not threatening anyone. You are simply communicating that your time and skills are in demand. In jobs, this can also be subtle. Mentioning that you are currently considering a few options can gently signal value without sounding arrogant. The key is balance. You should sound confident, not boastful. Calm, not manipulative. When people believe others want you, they start valuing you more. And in negotiation, perception often determines price more than reality. Trick 7. Walk away. Power. One of the strongest negotiation skills you can ever develop is the ability to walk away. This is the point where real power shows up, not in what you say, but in what you are willing to do. Desperation destroys negotiation power. When the other side senses that you need the deal too much, they immediately lose urgency. They know you will accept almost anything, and that weakens your position instantly. Even if you have great skills or value, desperation makes it look cheap. But when you are willing to walk away, everything changes. You stop being someone who needs the deal and become someone who is choosing the deal. That shift alone can completely change how people treat you. Psychologically, walking away creates pressure on the other side. They start questioning their decision. They begin to think, what if we lose this person? That fear of loss often leads them to improve their offer or reconsider their position. For example, in a job negotiation, if you politely decline and say you will explore other options, sometimes the employer comes back later with a better salary or improved conditions. In business, a client who sees you are not desperate may suddenly find more budget or flexibility. The key is not to walk away angrily or emotionally. It is to do it calmly and confidently without burning bridges. You are not rejecting people. You are respecting your own value. When you truly understand that you can walk away from any deal, You stop negotiating from fear. You start negotiating from strength. And that is where real income growth begins. Now, let's bring everything together. These 7 negotiation tricks are not just techniques you watch once and forget. They are tools that can completely change how you earn, how you speak, and how people value you. Most people go through life accepting whatever is offered to them. They don't question prices, they don't challenge offers, and they don't realize how much money they quietly lose every single day. But now you see differently. You are no longer someone who just accepts. You are someone who negotiates. You understand silence, anchoring, timing, value exchange, social proof, and walk-away power. That means you are no longer operating from fear. You are operating from awareness and control. But knowledge alone is not enough. You must practice this in real life. Start small. Use these techniques in simple conversations, small purchases, and daily decisions. The more you use them, the more natural they become. And remember this, negotiation is not about being aggressive. It is about knowing your value and communicating it clearly. From today, you are not a victim of low offers. You are a negotiator who understands value, timing, and confidence. And once you master that, your income will never stay the same again.